Welcome and thank you for watching. I'm Natalie Cover and this is the Magnolia Minute. I'm here with Ben Forkner, author of his new book, Audubon in Louisiana. How are you?
Just fine.
So you are in town visiting family?
I'm visiting family. This is the main reason we're here. My son is a teacher at the university. He teaches French and Spanish. His wife is in the administration there. And I have two lovely granddaughters, Valentina and Natalia.
Oh.
So,
I live near them, and so I hear them play.
You told me that at the beginning. You hear them play?
I do.
Well, I played a lot with them. Some of the book actually was written in their house, above the garage in the room where my wife and I stay. And they were always ready to play with me and take me away from the book whenever it was necessary. So
young children are good
I owe a
for
lot
that.
to them. I owe a lot to them for the.
And you're going to be having a book signing.
Yes.
And that's this Saturday?
That's this Saturday at 2 p.m.
At 2 p.m. at the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. He'll be there to talk to us about his book and to do some readings.
A few readings and to answer questions.
And to answer questions. And it's a really interesting subject when you look at Audubon's specific relationship with Louisiana.
That's the main idea of the book. That's how the book began. I had done other books on Audubon, mainly on his writings. And
this is your fourth book.
That's the fourth one on Audubon's writings.
Audubon.
And it dawned on me, or one thing I began to notice in his writings was the role of Louisiana and the importance. So this book comes out of that. It's been germinating for a long time. Most people know that Audubon spent some time in Louisiana, and especially in Louisiana. The people from natives of Louisiana would know that because of the Oakley plantation down in St. Francisville. But that was just one short summer of 3 months of 1821. What a lot of people don't realize is that Louisiana was part of his life from almost the beginning. He was born in the Caribbean. His wife, his father was a sea captain and a plantation owner in Saint-Domingue, which is now Haiti. And Audubon was the illegitimate child of an affair that Audubon's father had with another French woman there. His wife was in Nantes, which is a large seaport, which had grown tremendously because of the trade with the Caribbean. Anyway, Audubon, as a boy, was sent away from Haiti or Saint-Domingue back to Nantes because of the stirrings of the slave revolt. He was a little over 3 years old. He grew up in Nantes. Then when he was 18 years old in 1803, just at the time of the Louisiana Purchase, Audubon's father realized that if he stayed any longer in France, he might be conscripted into Napoleon's army, and he would not last very long there. So he sent him to a farm that he had bought. His father had bought a farm in Pennsylvania, and Audubon went there when he was 18 with a passport on which the name Louisiana had been forged by his father as his place of birth. That was because of the Louisiana Purchase, because the same time, 1803, I think the Louisiana Purchase was officially announced on July the 4th. Audubon went that summer, and thus the father thought that it would be a lot easier for him to be accepted as an American citizen with that on his passport.
Yeah, it's a very tactful ruse.
Yeah, exactly, and it worked. Even Audubon tried to convince people most of his life that he was from Louisiana. I don't know if everyone believed it, but that was his pitch for a long time.
And what was the heart of the book?
The heart of the book is what I call the Louisiana Journal, which is the journal that he kept. He kept journals all his life. He wrote 2 hours a day all his life. There are thousands of pages,
wow,
a lot of which were destroyed. But the Louisiana Journal was so important to his life because in 1820 he had been in Kentucky in a small town with his wife and a small business, had lost everything in 1819, everything. two young boys, a wife, and no means of self-support. So he decided then to stake everything on his painting and to do the Birds of America and to go to Louisiana to do it. This was the promised land for him. He had never been there before. So he set off, hired himself off as a hunter on a flatboat going down the Ohio and the Mississippi. And
what voyage?
So yes, that's the journal of a daily journal of that trip down to Louisiana, to New Orleans. His wife and sons finally joined him, and she remained there for 10 years as a teacher. He stayed there off and on for 4 or 5 years, painting his best bird paintings. Those are the paintings that made him famous.
That everybody knows him for, yes.
And he realized that Louisiana had changed not only his painting, but his life for good. And when he went to England in 1826, he presented himself. There he didn't have a Louisiana passport. He had a New Orleans stamp by the Louisiana governor on his passport, and he presented himself as John James Audubon of Louisiana every time he was introduced in England. The Birds of America were engraved, and everyone knows the rest of the story. He became famous as a great bird artist. But the writings need to be better known because he was a good nature writer, and of course, because of his openness to experience and the fact that he loved to walk and ride. He had to do that anyway for the paintings, to search out these birds.
Yeah.
He had never had any trouble with the Indians because he had his violin, he has his paintbrush. He would paint pictures of the Indians, play music for them. He was welcomed into them as a member of their tribe everywhere he went.
I didn't know that.
His life is the life of fiction.
Wow. Which are you perfectly captured here in this book.
Well, we'll see.
Well, if you want to hear more about this fascinating section of Audubon's life, come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame this Saturday at 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Thank you for watching.